What's up everyone, KRTUGO here, back with more F1 2021, and today we're going to be going into the weekly events and giving that a try. This weekly event is in Australia, and we are driving as Kimi for Alfa Romeo, and the objective is to finish pretty much on the podium. We'll have to see how much of a struggle that is. So it looks like it is raining. We're on inters. So I'm not a fan of the rain. So it's going to be a little difficult. And we are going pretty slow. So yes, we are under safety car conditions. Lap 4 out of 15 and 11th place. So we're going to go from 11th to 3rd. Thanks, F1, because you make everything so easy. So yes, 11th to 3rd place, starting under a safety car in the rain, with 10 laps to go. Here we go, and we don't get the best start. It's a really hard point of the track to get a good start on, especially under safety car. But yeah, so we're gonna have to find our rhythm in the rain and try to see if we can outsmart the AI with maybe pitting just at the right time to be able to jump some people.
Disabled DRS. DRS is now disabled.
Thanks, Jeff. DRS is disabled. I'd imagine it would have been disabled well before this time, but thanks. Always that helpful information. Yes, we are struggling to get past Ocon here. This is a very difficult track to pass on. There's not a lot of passing opportunities, and as I was playing the game, or have been playing the game and doing this event and trying to get into the top 3, I've noticed the AI is very aggressive. As you can see there, we pretty much got the move done down into that turn, and Ocon just kind of continues to stick his nose on the inside when we have the right to the racing line. So yeah, feel free to comment about it if you want.
Dry track soon. Back to dry shortly.
From my experience, the AI in 2021 is a huge improvement over 2020. However, they're a little too aggressive. They don't back off when the move is already done. From what I've seen,
You're in the top 10 now. Keep it up.
They have a tendency to try and pass under yellow flags, or pass under yellow flag conditions, which by the ruling of F1 is not allowed. And if you do that, you get a penalty for it if you don't hand the position back. I've actually done a race where the AI have tried to pass me under yellow flag. Yeah. And it's just those little things as we get our first corner cutting. I did look before doing this. Corner cutting is set to regular for some reason. And as you can see here again, yeah, Ricciardo just not backing down. We get ahead of him and he doesn't back down. And there's a little bit of contact because of it. And yeah, the AI they're good, but they're aggressive. And I don't think we'll see it in any of these attempts. But there's been times where I've also noticed moving under braking, which is another thing that's not allowed in F1. And double moves. So a double move would be anything where you go to defend, you make an obvious move. So say we're going down the main straight, you go to the right to defend the inside, and then you move all the way back to the left to defend the outside. That is also not allowed. You're allowed to go to the right, but once you all make that obvious move to the right, you have to at least leave a car's width to the left, and the AI doesn't always do that. I've been caught out and lost my wing because of that. They'll go to defend on the inside, and I'll go to move back to the outside, and they'll cut me off again, and it's time to brake, and I'm in the rear end of them. There we get a warning of collision with Ocon. Or not Ocon, sorry, I mean Alonso. And yeah, I didn't really feel like I hit Alonso.
Some information on Schumacher. It looks like the problem is terminal.
I think I have the right to the racing line as Schumacher retires out of the race. Although
okay, we can take you this lap.
That affects us because he was behind us. Although, yes, the track is drying out. It seems to pretty much stop raining at this point. So a line should be coming in quite easily, or quite soon. And I can also feel and see on the track that the line is starting to form. And as we get that really good, we have to let off because we get that really good run on Perez. Yeah, the track actually starts, you start to feel the grip, even on the interiors. So I would choose to pit this lap, whereas the AI will not start pitting until next lap. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But yeah, I mean, so far I've really enjoyed this game. This event, as we almost lose it a little bit there, and we go towards the outside of Perez. So you try to make this pass on the outside, and he just, we were gonna, honestly, I was gonna cut back behind Perez, but for some reason,
I don't think the line is really dry enough yet to start thinking
again,
about
with
slicks.
the AI, he,
Let's hold on to the
instead of
inters
taking
for a
the
while
racing line, he slowed down, and which is what made us have contact. If he would have just went ahead, we probably would have been fine. But yeah. So there was a point where the AI just wasn't aggressive enough. Yeah, as we pit, and it's a 2.9. That is a really slow pit stop, Alfa Romeo. I have to say. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This is not my first
See these
attempt.
tires through to the end now.
I'll go over that later in the video as well. But yeah, this is one of my attempts, and every time I've pitted, it's been a long pit stop as DRS gets enabled already. Yeah. It's always
been enabled.
been like a
DRS is now
2.7.
enabled.
It's been a long pit stop every single time. And Bottas is very, very hard to beat. It almost seems like the actual goal of this race was to actually beat Ricciardo in the end, which you'll see. Because out of most of the attempts, Bottas actually ended up winning the race. He had the pace to pass me and pass everyone else and come back and win the race. And that's just pace between a Mercedes and an Alfa Romeo is just that great. And as my teammate goes into the pits, and there's a lot of people in the pits, and it looks like we are going to pass a good bit of them, as it looks like an Aston Martin and a McLaren stay out, along with a Mercedes, a Red Bull, and another Aston Martin. I'm not 100% sure about those. Or no, that's Latifi. So Williams. And then correction, that would be Verstappen and most likely Hamilton out in front of him, which would have already pitted because they were leading the race. As we just set the fastest first sector of the race, and we are catching. As you can see, those enters are really slowing down Latifi, as we need to get past them as quickly as possible, and we do. Around the outside, easy enough. Continuing on, setting a green sector 2. That turn is very, very hard to take fast and not lose the rear end. However, the AI seem to, yeah, they take fast turns extremely well. Extremely well. Every time I've taken that turn, the AI has usually gained a couple of tenths on me. And it's just ridiculous. As we set the fastest lap
of the race so far,
with a 1:25.979, and we are currently in third place with Sainz behind us with a 1.6 second gap. That is pretty big gap, but we still have 5 laps left, and it's not over. As Ocon sets the fastest lap and takes me off with fastest lap for So as we continue this has been a very, very multiple attempts at this event, as I really don't like the rain. It's been different than F1 2020. The cars handle differently. The setups are different. The curbs are definitely different, as Hamilton sets the fastest lap with a 1:22.
You have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
And Jeff warns us about our fuel. It's been a difficult game to get used to.
5/10 a lap.
As Jeff tells us, Raikkonen has taken, or no, that's me, never mind, sorry. Sainz is still in 4th place, and he is apparently gaining on us about 5/10 a lap, which, yeah, that's not good. That is fast. And that's Ferrari versus...
Our gap to the car in front is 8.4 seconds.
That is Ferrari versus Alfa Romeo. And that's another thing about these events. Just like a breaking point, the objectives are far-fetched, in my opinion. If this was real, which it's not, it's a game, yeah, I really don't think I'd be seeing Alfa Romeo coming up with this, or doing this, and finishing on the podium. It's unlikely. If this wasn't a game, this was real life, most of the F1 drivers would have actually pitted on the optimal lap, and that would have made this even harder. But this is a game, and honestly, pitting on that lap, I feel, may be the best way about going about accomplishing this event. It's just how you gotta think. But yeah, I wish the events were more realistic, not more of a let's see how many cars you can pass.
4 laps of fuel remaining.
4 laps. Because, like I said before, the AI is very aggressive, and it makes passing them that much harder. And you do get ranked on how cleanly you race. So if you have to pass a certain amount of cars in a certain amount of time, it changes your race style and changes how cleanly you're willing to do the race. Because you now have to go from being able to play the patient and mind game to having to pass a car every lap, or pass two, or pass a car every other lap, so you gotta be on the attack the whole time. And it's really hard, especially around this track, to pass cleanly and accomplish that. Otherwise, you got the cars in front of you, they're holding you up, they're slowing you down, and it's just not good. As we have 2 laps to go, Bottas has caught up and is now P4 with 2 seconds behind us. So I'm feeling pretty confident at this point. I feel like, you know, 2-second gap, 2 laps to go. We should be able to cover Bottas, and he sure will not be in attacking position until at least the next lap. But we'll see. We'll see when we go through this turn how much gain. As you see, I take as much curb as possible, and he gains in the end of it 4, almost 5 tenths on me in just that one turn.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
That is insane on how fast the AI can take that turn without having any issues. And I don't even...
This is your final lap.
The AI I have right now isn't even set that high. It is actually set to 95. Which is where I recently changed my team to, because I was on 90 and it felt too easy. So I changed it up to 95. I'd like to be able to get it up to 100, honestly. I'd like to be able to raise it up. That's why I play this game.
Gap ahead is 11.2 seconds.
But yeah, I play to try to improve myself. I'd like to be one of the top guys playing the game. Obviously, I'm not looking towards esports anytime soon, or I may not ever. That just may be out of my capabilities. But as we were in the last lap, there's 5 tenths between us, between Bottas, and he's caught up a lot. The pace of that Mercedes versus this one is fast. And here we are going into full defensive mode on these last couple of laps to try to secure this podium finish. And we are going to have to hold him off on the straight, but he drops back to 7 tenths behind us. So I think we're going to be able to get it. We're going to be able to use the rest of our ERS up, going to the inside, try to break that strip stream, go across the line, and still finish in the podium and achieving the goal. Yeah, it was very difficult, as we also received driver of the day, because, you know, 11th to 3rd in 10 laps.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Yeah, so this event was, yeah, very, very, very hard, especially for me. I'd never been great in the rain. So it's definitely a place I'd probably look into improving. But yeah, I've always struggled in the rain, so we'll have to look at that. As we fastest lap time was a 124 versus Bottas, which is a 123. When we score with a 194,620 points. And honestly, that's not what I was expecting. And yeah, because my first attempt was 200,000 points, and this attempt felt even better. And this attempt I didn't use any flashbacks. Actually, I had flashbacks turned off because I figured that would count as an assist bonus, not running flashbacks. But for your guys' tips, apparently it doesn't. And yeah, it's kind of a disappointment. honestly. Felt like I should have at least improved my score, but as you can see there, my previous score was a 200,335, which puts me at the top 5. I am happy with that, because in the old games, I don't think I was quite in the top 5, and top 5 is that top trophy. But here we are in here, and you can see my completion times. I added them up top for my first 2-second attempt, and then the score breakdown as well. Assist bonus for the first round was higher than my second. Just so you guys know, I didn't change any of my assists, and if anything, I actually on the second run turned flashbacks off, which I would consider taking that as an assist, but apparently not. Same thing with the difficulty bonus. I did not adjust that as well, and the second run was a lower. Flashbacks, I got an extra 250 for not using any versus using one. And the clean lap bonus, got a big nick from that, just from, honestly, from my point of view, the AI being too aggressive. So, yeah. That is a bit broken, I think. I think they should probably go in there and tweak how they give points out and everything. But yeah, if you have anything you want to leave behind, go ahead, feel free, leave a comment, and I'll gladly read them and take your guys' advice as well. That is going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.